Have you ever woken up in the morning feeling heavy, tired, and strangely drained? Even though you went to bed early and didn't do anything exhausting the day before? Have you ever brushed it off and told yourself it's probably just age without realizing that something far more serious could already be happening inside your body? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Your kidneys can be failing right now, quietly, silently, without pain, without warning, while you still feel mostly fine. Unlike your heart, which pounds when it's under stress, your kidneys suffer in silence. They filter toxins, balance fluids, regulate minerals, and protect your blood every single minute of your life. Yet they never scream for help. And that silence is exactly why kidney decline becomes so dangerous after the age of 50. Nighttime urination, morning swelling, lower back heaviness, cold legs, lingering fatigue that never quite goes away. Most people in America are told these are normal signs of aging, but medically they are often the earliest distress signals of overworked kidneys. I'm Dr. Johnny, and after years of working with middle-aged and older adults, I've seen this pattern again and again. People panic when their creatinine starts creeping up. They cut protein, cut salt, cut foods they love, yet their energy drops, sleep worsens, and their kidneys don't actually recover. Because the real issue is rarely just what you eat. It's how well blood flows to your kidneys, how much silent inflammation is building up, and whether your body can truly relax and repair at night. And this is where most people are shocked. One simple kitchen ingredient, used the right way at the right time, can help warm kidney tissues improve microcirculation, calm hidden inflammation, and allow your kidneys to finally rest instead of struggling through the night. Used incorrectly, it does almost nothing. Used correctly, it can change how your body feels within weeks. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to use it clearly, safely, and scientifically, so you're not guessing, overdoing, or following trends that don't respect an aging body. Because kidney health isn't about extremes. It's about timing, rhythm, and giving your body the conditions it needs to heal. And once you understand that, everything you thought you knew about protecting your kidneys will start to make sense. Before we talk about how to use ginger, we need to pause for something far more important, because this is where most people quietly sabotage their own kidneys without realizing it. The biggest mistake I see is not choosing the wrong ingredient. It's using the right ingredient in the wrong way. Many people hear that ginger is good for circulation or good for detox, so they assume more is better. They boil it strong. They drink it late at night. They use it every single day. And then they wonder why their heart races, their sleep gets lighter, or their kidneys don't actually feel any better. Let me tell you about a patient I once worked with, early 60s, otherwise healthy, very disciplined. He started drinking strong ginger tea twice a day because he wanted to lower his creatinine naturally. 2 weeks later, his labs hadn't improved, but something else had changed. He was waking up more at night. His legs felt restless. His body felt warm, but not rested. That's when it clicked for him. Kidneys don't heal through stimulation. They heal through stability. From a physiological standpoint, aging kidneys are extremely sensitive to sudden changes, sudden heat, sudden fluid shifts, sudden spikes in circulation. Research shows that in adults over 50, renal blood flow can already be reduced by 10 to 20% compared to younger adults. When circulation becomes erratic instead of steady, filtration becomes more stressful, not less. This is why the guiding rule matters more than any recipe. For weak or aging kidneys, ginger must follow one principle: warm, slowly penetrate deeply, and remain gentle. Not hot, not aggressive, not constant. Think of it like warming a cold engine in winter. If you rev it hard right away, you damage it. But if you let it warm gradually, everything runs smoother, longer, and with less strain. This is why timing matters. This is why dosage matters. This is why frequency matters. And this is why copying random detox trends online often backfires, especially for people over 50. Have you ever tried something that was supposed to help your kidneys, but instead made your sleep worse or your body feel off? If that sounds familiar, leave a comment. I read everyone. Because once you understand this rule, every method we talk about next will suddenly make sense. But knowing the rule alone isn't enough, because the timing of ginger use can quietly determine whether your kidneys recover or continue to struggle. Once you understand that aging kidneys need stability, not stimulation, the next question becomes critical. When should ginger enter the body so it actually helps instead of quietly causing stress? And the answer surprises most people. The morning is not just convenient, it's biologically strategic. After a full night of sleep, your kidneys come out of a low-flow state. Blood circulation slows overnight. Filtration rate drops. Waste products like urea and uric acid linger longer in the bloodstream, especially in adults over 50. That's why so many people wake up with puffy eyes, heavy legs, dry mouth, or that dull pressure in the lower back. I remember a woman in her late 60s telling me, "Dr. Johnny, I don't feel sick, but every morning I feel weighted down." Her labs showed only mildly elevated creatinine. Nothing alarming, but her body was clearly telling a story. From a physiological standpoint, this makes sense. Studies show that renal blood flow and glomerular filtration rate naturally rebound in the morning, but only if circulation reopens smoothly. If the body is cold, dehydrated, or stressed, that rebound becomes sluggish. And that's when kidneys have to work harder than they should right at the start of the day. This is where warm diluted ginger plays a very specific role. Not strong, not spicy, not aggressive. A thin slice of ginger in warm, not hot water gently signals the nervous system to shift from nighttime conservation into daytime circulation. It encourages microcirculation, slightly thins the blood, and helps reopen small vessels around the kidneys without forcing them. That warmth travels inward slowly, especially to the lower abdomen and lumbar area where kidney blood supply is regulated. Research on ginger's active compounds like gingerol shows mild anti-inflammatory and vasodilatory effects enough to support circulation without triggering stress responses. And when used in the morning, this effect aligns with the body's natural rhythm instead of fighting it. The result isn't dramatic, but it's powerful. People often notice lighter legs, reduced morning swelling, clearer head space, and more regular urination within days. Not because ginger detoxed them overnight, but because their kidneys finally started the day under better conditions. Have you ever noticed that mornings feel harder on your body than the rest of the day? If yes, leave a comment. I want to know you're listening to these signals. Because this simple morning habit can quietly reset the entire day's workload for your kidneys. But knowing what to do in the morning still isn't enough, because what happens at night may be doing even more damage than you realize. If the morning sets the tone for your kidneys, then nighttime decides whether they recover or break down a little more. This is something most people never connect. Cold feet at night aren't just uncomfortable. They're a direct signal that kidney circulation is being disrupted. I can't tell you how many older adults have said this to me, Dr. Johnny. I don't drink much water at night, but I still wake up 2, 3, even 4 times to urinate. And almost every time when I ask one simple question, "Do your feet feel cold at night?" they pause and say yes. Here's what's happening physiologically. When your feet get cold, blood vessels in the lower body constrict. That constriction doesn't stay in the feet. It sends a signal up the nervous system, activating a stress response that pulls circulation away from deep organs, including the kidneys. To compensate, the kidneys are forced to adjust fluid balance repeatedly through the night, and that's when nocturnal urination spikes. Studies on peripheral circulation show that in adults over 55, cold-induced vasoconstriction can significantly increase renal workload at night. And this matters because nighttime is supposed to be the repair window for the kidneys, not a second work shift. This is why a warm ginger foot soaked before bed can be surprisingly powerful. Not because it flushes toxins, but because it turns off the stress signal. The warmth from ginger activates temperature receptors in the feet, gently opening microvessels and lowering peripheral resistance. That warmth travels upward, calming the autonomic nervous system and allowing kidney blood flow to stabilize instead of fluctuating. Ginger's volatile oils enhance this effect, not aggressively but steadily. I once followed a man in his late 60s who had been waking up 3 times a night for years. No infection, no prostate emergency, just chronic cold feet. Within a week of consistent warm ginger foot soaks, he was waking up once or not at all. His words stayed with me. "I didn't fix my bladder. I finally let my kidneys sleep." Have you ever noticed your feet feeling cold right before you wake up to urinate at night? If that sounds familiar, leave a comment. This detail matters more than people realize, because when the body feels safe and warm, the kidneys don't have to stay on high alert. But understanding circulation alone still isn't enough, because there's another hidden pathway for waste removal that most people completely overlook. And when it shuts down, kidney stress quietly skyrockets. When circulation stabilizes at night, kidneys finally get a chance to rest. But here's the part almost no one talks about. Kidneys were never designed to detox alone. Your body has multiple exit doors for waste, and as we age, one of those doors quietly starts to close. The skin. After 60, sweat glands become less responsive. Peripheral circulation weakens. Many people notice they barely sweat anymore, even in warm weather. What seems like a small change creates a big problem, because when waste can't leave through the skin, the kidneys are forced to carry the entire burden. I once worked with a woman in her early 70s who told me something striking. "Dr. Johnny, I feel heavy at night. Not pain, just full." She barely sweated, her ankles puffed by evening. Her labs showed rising creatinine, but no clear dietary cause. From a physiological perspective, this makes perfect sense. Research on aging metabolism shows that reduced sweating leads to greater retention of water-soluble waste in the interstitial space. When that fluid doesn't move out through the skin, it must be filtered back into circulation. And guess who handles that job? The kidneys, again, and again, and again. This is why gentle ginger steam therapy can be such a powerful ally for aging kidneys. Not intense heat, not extreme sauna sessions, just enough warmth to reopen the skin's detox channel. Ginger's volatile compounds interact with thermal receptors in the skin, encouraging mild vasodilation and light perspiration. This allows small amounts of urea salts and metabolic byproducts to exit through sweat-relieving pressure on the kidneys without stressing the heart or nervous system. I've seen people describe the effect perfectly without knowing the science. After a gentle ginger steam, my body feels lighter. My legs aren't tight. I sleep deeper. That lightness isn't imagination. It's redistribution of fluid and waste away from the kidneys and back into balance. Do you ever feel heavier at night, especially in your legs or lower body? Even if you didn't eat much, if that resonates, leave a comment. This is a signal worth paying attention to, because when the skin stops helping, kidneys suffer in silence. But even if circulation improves and detox pathways reopen, there's still one nightly habit that quietly overloads the kidneys more than most people realize, and it happens right at the dinner table. When circulation improves and detox pathways reopen, many people assume the hardest part is over. But here's the uncomfortable truth. What you eat at night can undo everything while you sleep. This is where the dinner table becomes a hidden danger zone for aging kidneys. At night, your body naturally slows down. Blood flow decreases, breathing becomes shallower, muscles relax, and most importantly, kidney filtration drops into a low-power mode designed for repair, not heavy processing. Yet this is exactly when many people eat their largest, saltiest, or most protein-dense meal of the day. I once spoke with a man in his mid-60s who said, "Dr. Johnny, I don't eat much, but dinner is the one meal I really enjoy. Rice, meat, broth, salty sides. Nothing extreme. Just heavy for the time of day." He wasn't overeating. He was eating at the wrong biological moment. From a physiological standpoint, this matters more than people realize. At night, reduced renal blood flow means nitrogen wastes sodium, and metabolic byproducts enter the bloodstream faster than they can be cleared. Studies show that late protein-heavy meals increase nocturnal kidney workload and are strongly associated with nighttime urination, morning swelling, and next-day fatigue in adults over 55. This is where a light ginger rice porridge in the evening becomes a strategic reset, not a sacrifice. Loose, watery porridge creates minimal digestive demand. It produces far less nitrogen waste than meat-based dinners. And when paired with a small amount of ginger, it gently warms the abdomen, supports circulation to the lower back, and reduces cold-triggered bladder reflexes that wake people up at night. I've heard people describe the change in simple words. "My stomach felt calm. My body felt warm. I didn't wake up as much." That calm isn't just comfort, it's reduced renal stress. By eating lightly and warmly, the nervous system shifts toward parasympathetic mode. Blood returns more evenly to deep organs. Kidneys don't have to juggle filtration, fluid balance, and temperature regulation all at once. They finally get a quiet window to recover. Have you noticed that the nights you eat lighter, you sleep deeper and wake up less? If yes, leave a comment. Your body's already teaching you something important. Because even with the right dinner, there's still one overlooked area that controls how much blood actually reaches your kidneys at night, and most people never think to support it directly. But knowing this still isn't enough because there's one final physical blockage that can quietly starve the kidneys of circulation, even if you're doing everything else right. Even when you eat lightly at night and support detox pathways, there's still one physical barrier that can quietly starve your kidneys of blood tension and cold in the lower back. This is something I see constantly, especially in people over 55. Long hours of sitting, years of limited movement, air conditioning at night, cold weather. All of it adds up to one outcome. The muscles and tissues around the lower spine tighten, circulation slows, and the blood supply feeding the kidneys becomes compromised. I once worked with a retired farmer in his late 60s who told me, "Dr. Johnny, my kidneys feel tired, but my back feels frozen." That word frozen wasn't accidental. From a physiological perspective, the kidneys receive roughly 20 to 25% of the heart's output every minute. But that flow depends heavily on open, relaxed vessels around the lumbar region. When muscles tighten or tissue stays cold, microvessels constrict, blood return slows, and the kidneys are forced to filter under suboptimal conditions quietly night after night. This is why gentle lower back massage with warm ginger oil can be such a game changer. Not deep tissue, not aggressive pressure, just warmth and steady motion. Ginger's active compounds increase local microcirculation and reduce cold-induced vasoconstriction. When combined with light massage, they help release muscle tension around the lumbar spine, allowing blood to reach the kidneys more evenly. The nervous system reads this as safety heart rate slows, stress hormones drop, and the body shifts into repair mode. People often report something subtle but telling. "My lower back feels warm, and my legs feel lighter." That warmth isn't cosmetic, it's circulation returning. Have you ever noticed that when your lower back feels cold or stiff, your sleep is worse and nighttime urination increases? If that sounds familiar, leave a comment. This pattern is more common than most people think. Because when the pathway feeding your kidneys finally opens, the body stops compensating in destructive ways. But even if circulation improves and tension releases, there's still one final habit that can quietly push kidneys toward long-term decline, and it's often misunderstood as healthy. When circulation improves, tension releases, and nighttime load decreases, many people ask me one final question. "Dr. Johnny, is there anything gentle I can use a few times a week to help my kidneys recover without pushing them?" The answer is yes, but this is also where people make one of the most misunderstood mistakes. Ginger with honey, when diluted properly, is not a detox drink. It's a supportive signal. I once followed a woman in her early 60s who avoided ginger entirely because she had heard it was too hot for weak kidneys. At the same time, she felt constantly cold, slept lightly, and woke up tired every morning. When we introduced a very diluted ginger and honey drink only a few times a week, never at night, something changed quietly. Her lower back felt warmer, her body felt calmer, and her morning fatigue began to ease. Here's why this works physiologically. Low-grade kidney stress is often driven by chronic microinflammation and oxidative stress, not acute damage. Ginger contains compounds that gently reduce inflammatory signaling, while small amounts of honey provide natural polyphenols that help calm oxidative processes. Together, they support circulation and tissue repair, but only when used in moderation. Overuse flips the effect. Too much ginger overstimulates the nervous system. Too much honey spikes blood sugar and pulls fluid shifts the kidneys must correct. And taken late in the day, even a mild warming drink can interfere with deep sleep, which is when kidneys actually recover. That's why timing and dilution matter more than the ingredients themselves. Used mid-morning or mid-afternoon, a lightly diluted ginger honey drink can support warm circulation and metabolic calm without stressing the kidneys. Used daily strong or at night, it does the opposite. Have you ever tried something natural that was supposed to help, but made your body feel off instead? If yes, leave a comment. This misunderstanding is more common than you think. Because once you reach this stage, kidney care stops being about adding more remedies and starts being about respecting limits. And now we arrive at the most important question of all, one final factor that quietly determines whether kidney decline stabilizes or continues toward dialysis even when everything else looks under control. Before we end, I want you to hear this clearly. If you've made it this far, your kidneys still matter and your body is still listening to you. Kidney decline doesn't happen overnight and it doesn't reverse through extremes. What truly protects your kidneys, especially after 50, is understanding how your body works, respecting its limits, and making small adjustments that restore balance instead of forcing change. You don't need to do everything at once. You don't need to follow every trend, and you certainly don't need to panic. Start with one habit that feels right for your body. Observe how you sleep, how your legs feel in the morning, how often you wake up at night. These signals are not random, they're your body communicating with you in real time. If this video helped you understand your kidneys more clearly, save it. Not just for today, but for the nights when you feel tired, discouraged, or unsure what to do next. Knowledge like this is most powerful when you can return to it. And if you want to keep receiving clear, practical, medically grounded guidance on kidney health, sleep, circulation, and aging, well, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Every week I share insights designed to help you protect your kidneys before damage becomes irreversible. Most importantly, remember, this healthy kidneys are not reserved for the young. They are the result of patience, consistency, and care. Even small changes done the right way can slow decline, restore comfort, and help you live with more energy and peace. Thank you for trusting me with your time today. I'm Dr. Johnny, and I'll see you in the next video right here, where we take care of your kidneys together.